Hello, everyone. Hello. I want to talk to you about equity in the workplace. What a great conversation. Why equity in the workplace? Because we struggle with equity in the workplace for a lot of reasons. For me, I think the reason why we struggle is because we have not applied or we're not applying equity to the individual first. Like, in order for an HR person to really understand the value and the role equity plays in the workplace among people who are different, we must be that person who is the HR person must begin to understand how it applies to their life individually. How does equity apply to us individually? That's what I want to talk to you about. Before I do that, I want to read to you because I wrote an article. An article is titled Equity in the Workplace, a Call to Action for HR Leaders, right? So I'm excited about this article. It's pretty comprehensive, but it doesn't go that deep into things. What I'm trying to do is get people to start thinking of equity a little differently than you become accustomed to. So I want to read to you a paragraph from that article, from the part one. Then I want to talk about why I said what I said and why I think it's important. So this is part one of the article. What do we mean by equity in the workplace? Simple. What do we mean by equity in the workplace? I said, let me ask you something. When you walk into your office, what do you see? Is it just numbers on a spreadsheet, or do you see the individuals behind those numbers? Equity in the workplace isn't just a buzzword. It's about recognizing that every person who works for you brings something unique to the table. Each employee has a different story, a different struggle, a different set of needs. Now, I want you to focus on that for a minute. And I want you to really get this first by applying it to yourself. Do you need the same thing everybody else needs? Of course you don't. Do you need it in the same amounts as what everybody else needs? Of course you don't. Do you see life in the same way that everybody else does? Of course you don't. I could go on and on and on and on. The reality is, as I say to people, audience after audience after audience, I ask this question: how many of you know someone who's different? And of course, everybody raises their hand. Then I say, how many of you know someone who's weird? Everybody raises their hand. What about odd, bizarre, quirky? Everybody raises their hand. Then I ask the question, how many of you have the wisdom enough to know that I'm talking about you? See, all of us are different. We're different. And what equity is really about is calling our attention to the value in that difference. See, yes, we are the same. We are more the same than we are different. But the reality is, our struggles in life come from not accepting our own difference. And then we then take that to the streets and we don't accept the difference we see in other people. See, I believe from my coaching practice over 30 years, 35 years coaching practice, what I've found and witnessed over and over and over again, that individuals who struggle with accepting their own unique difference in the world will struggle with accepting other people's unique difference in the world, especially in the workplace where we have structure and ways of doing things and we want everybody to conform. And there's very little leeway for acknowledging the difference, even though when we get to a point where we're not solving the problems in our workplace, we then want to bring in a consultant from outside, which represents diversity of thought and mind and attitude to help us solve the problem that's overtaking the workplace. Well, the reason why the problems that we have in the workplace continue to persist is because we lock out difference. We don't value equity. I want you to think about that. Equity is really about us understanding that everybody's different, needs something different in different amounts for different reasons at different times. We can go on and on and on and on. The main thing is that equity is designed to get us to establish a relationship with one another such that we can discover what the difference is and to value that difference. It's like sort of like having equity in your home. You have money in your home. Well, equity in human beings is the same thing. They have value in their difference. It is their difference that they bring to the table that makes them so important in their contribution to creating solutions for our world and in the workplace. Just think about it. Don't think about it as a construct or something that we have to do in order to, because we have been mandated. Think of equity as something that can improve the way we relate to each other, the way we share with each other and connect with each other. There's a whole lot more to this than what meets the eye. Dig into the conversation. Don't be afraid, and don't get caught up in the political rhetoric around it. Equity is a very important thing. Those organizations and companies that have equity have a secret weapon. I'm Madhi, co-director of the Human Solidarity Project and co-founder. So excited about being able to talk to you about this. Dig into equity. Dig into it as much as you possibly can. Peace.